Have you ever found yourself obsessing over saving, a couple of bucks, only to completely ignore a massive expense that's just quietly draining your bank account? It's a really common trap, and today we're going to unpack this wild idea, how a cheap mentality can actually be the very thing that's keeping you broke.
Yeah, this quote just nails it, doesn't it? You're absolutely fuming over a lost $2 coupon, but at the same time, there's this car payment you can't really afford that's slowly bankrupting you. That, right there, is the cheap mentality in a nutshell. It's a psychological trick that makes us feel like we're being responsible, even when we're making some truly terrible financial moves.
All right, so let's really break this down. First up, we're going to look at the cheap mentality trap itself. We're going to pull back the curtain and expose the totally flawed math that makes penny pinching feel so smart.
Okay, let's start with a classic. Picture this. You see a gas station way across town, and it's selling gas for 10 cents less per gallon. So you think, hey, I'll drive 15 minutes to get there. Feels like a solid, financially savvy move, right? You're being smart, you're saving money. But are you really? So what's the big prize for all your effort? Well, on a 15-gallon tank, that 10-cent difference gets you a grand total of $1.50. And hey, let's be honest, it feels good. You feel like you outsmarted the system, like you earned that $1.50. But this is where the house of cards comes tumbling down. See, your savings are a positive $1.50, sure, but that 30-minute round trip, it burned about a gallon of gas, which probably cost you around $3.79. And what about your time? I mean, even if you value it at a modest $25 an hour, that's another $12.50 gone. So when you do the actual math, you didn't save anything. You actually lost almost $15 just for the feeling of saving a $1.50. It's crazy. And that right there is when you realize the real cost of this kind of saving has nothing to do with a calculator. It's a psychology problem, not a math problem. The trap isn't in our bank accounts, it's between our ears. Think of it like this. There are two totally different operating systems for your brain. The cheap mindset is obsessed with just one question. How much does this cost? It sees every single dollar you spend as a permanent loss. But the wealthy mindset, it asks a completely different, more powerful question. What is the return on this investment? It sees money as a tool, something you use to create more value. So where does this fear-based thinking come from? Well, it all boils down to something called the scarcity mindset. It's this deep down gut feeling that there will just never be enough. Never enough money, never enough opportunity, and so every dollar you spend feels like it's gone forever, which leads you to make decisions based on pure fear, not on smart strategy. And the language we use, it both shows and strengthens this mindset. Saying I can't afford that makes you powerless. It makes you a victim of your circumstances. But just watch what happens when you shift that to, I'm choosing not to spend on that right now. See? Suddenly, you're back in control. It's a strategic choice you're making, not a limitation that's been forced on you. Now, this whole scarcity mindset leads to a huge problem. It causes us to sweat the small stuff, to agonize over pennies, while we completely ignore the giant leaks that are actually sinking our financial ship. I'm sure you've heard about the latte factor, right? And yeah, $5 a day on coffee adds up to over $1,800 a year. That's not nothing. But look at this comparison. That same person who's feeling guilty about their coffee might be totally ignoring a car payment they can't afford that's costing them over $8,000 a year. Focusing on the latte is like stressing about a dripping faucet when a pipe is burst in the basement. And there's another hidden cost here, decision fatigue. Your brain, it only has so much juice for making good choices every day. When you burn through all that mental energy agonizing over saving 80 cents on a box of cereal, you have literally nothing left for the big, life-changing decisions, like negotiating a raise or finally starting that side business. Okay, now we're getting to the part where the damage gets really expensive. And honestly, sometimes it's irreversible. Let's talk about the astronomical cost of refusing to invest in yourself and your future. This is exactly how short-term savings creates long-term catastrophe. You think you're saving $500 by skipping a professional course, but what you're really doing is losing out on a potential $30,000 raise. You save $900 on a cheap laptop that crashes all the time, costing you hours of work and maybe even a big opportunity. Or, my personal favorite, you save $150 by skipping a dental cleaning, only to have it turn into a painful $4,000 implant. Ouch. This is where the wealthy mindset completely flips the script. It doesn't just ask, what does this cost? It asks a much smarter question. What is the cost of not doing this? What's the cost of staying unskilled, of being inefficient, of letting your health slide? Suddenly, that preventative spending starts to look like the absolute bargain of a lifetime. Okay, so we've diagnosed the problem. We get it. How do we fix it? Let's build a real framework for wealth. It's time to shift our whole mindset from playing defense with our money to playing offense. And this idea right here is the absolute key to the whole thing. Listen to this. You simply cannot shrink your way to wealth. It's impossible. Cutting your spending has a hard limit, right? The lowest you can go is 0, but your potential income, that is effectively unlimited. The real game isn't about cutting back, it's about growing your capacity to earn.
So here it is, a dead simple, actionable framework you can use for pretty much any purchase. Just ask yourself these 3 questions. Number 1, will this save me time? Number 2, will it increase my ability to earn more money? And number 3, will it prevent a much bigger, nastier expense down the road? If the answer to any of those is a solid yes, then what you're looking at isn't an expense, it's an investment.
So that brings us to the final question, the one you've got to ask yourself. Are you going to keep playing defense with your money, just hoarding every last penny out of fear, or are you ready to start playing offense, using your money strategically to build the future that you actually want? The choice, as they say, is yours.